Hey guys, welcome back to the Kyle Family Homestead. Today we're going to do a little fall garden update. So we finally have everything that we were going to plant this year in 2022 planted in the ground. The last update that we did was the onion video, and we were just kind of waiting for those to get in the ground to do this video so we can kind of do an entire walkthrough of our garden. As you can see behind me here, these are the things, or most of the things, that we planted in early to mid-October, and you can see that they're really starting to take off. So I thought now would be a good time to do a walkthrough of the varieties that we had planted and show you kind of the progress of what things are doing. So yeah, let's go ahead and walk around the garden and we'll show you what we have. Okay, so here on the first row, this is where we had all of our tomatoes planted. And as you can see, we finally got all of them pulled out of the ground and the area cleaned up. So we were gonna plant sugar snap peas here in this area. That's why we left the fence posts up. But as you seen in our earlier videos, that we are having a hard time having the tomatoes ripen on the vine. So we let them go a little bit too long. And now we kind of ran out of time to plant these snow peas or sugar snap peas. So we're not going to be able to do that this year, and we're just going to leave this blank until the spring. On this next area here is where we have cauliflower and broccoli planted in our grow bags. Now, unfortunately, I'm usually pretty bad about marking plants all the time, but this time I was really diligent about marking the plants. However, front, back, they are now not marked. So I used a permanent marker, black permanent marker, and they still faded. And these are only, gosh, less than 2 months old. So they faded less than 2 months. I might be able to make out this one. Okay, so that's I think that says Flame Star. Not positive. I do know they're both cauliflower and broccoli in here. I just don't know the varieties, unfortunately. I'm gonna have to come up with a better way of marking the plants so they'll last and last throughout the growing season. If you guys have a better way of marking these things, please let me know, because I have not found one yet. These plants are doing pretty good, actually, in the pots. This is the first time I've grown cauliflower or broccoli in the pots, in any pot, to be honest with you. I usually grow them in a garden box, and I like the way they're turning out so far. They look healthy. This actually looks like a broccoli, but they look pretty good. All right, this next row are carrots, and we have two different varieties of carrots growing on this row. And I planted these, I want to say in the beginning of September. So this is the longest thing in our garden row or in our garden that we have planted so far. So this row here, the tallest row of the two, those are bolero carrots, and the smaller of the two is a scarlet carrot. Now, the bolero carrots are a hybrid carrot, and they grow about 6 to 8 inches long, and they store really, really well. So that's the reason we grow them. We grow these, we try to grow these every year anyway. Both of these carrots, the bolero and the scarlets, we've grown in the past, and we really like them. Never had an issue with them. The scarlets are probably the most common carrot that we grow here in the South. They grow about 6 inches at full length, but they're also grown, that's a variety grown for baby carrots as well. So you can pull them early or let them grow to full size. Okay, the next two rows we have growing here in the garden are collards. The ones on the left are Georgia collards, and the ones to the right here are Top Bunch 2.0 collards. We have grown the Top Bunch 2.0s last year, and we had really good success with them, and we like the taste. The Georgia collards we actually have grown in the past as well. We didn't grow them last year, but we have grown them in the past. And I thought it would be kind of a fun little thing to do, is grow them side by side and kind of do a taste comparison and a grow out comparison of the two. Now, the difference between the two are, obviously, the Georgia collards have been around forever. They are an open pollinated heirloom variety collard, and the Top Bunch 2.0 is a hybrid collard. The Georgia collard, I don't know if it'll pick it up very well on camera. Let me see if I can get low. But there's a significant size difference between the two of them growing. Now, these were all started at the same time, planted at the same time. I did start from seed. I don't know if I backed that up. I don't know if you've seen the earlier videos where we did start the collards from seeds. But this really significant difference between the two thus far in the grow out. I'm really excited to kind of do a taste comparison of the two when they're ready. So the Georgia collards are slower growing, as a lot of heirloom open pollinated varieties are. And these Top Bunch 2.0s are just, they look stronger, they look healthier, they're greener. Yes, side by side difference, just growing them out. The Top Bunch 2.0s are clobbering the Georgia collards. The Top Bunch 2.0 is a hybrid, like I said, and they're super cold hardy, and they're slow to bolt, which means they can take a significant amount of heat. They're real heat tolerant. So here in the South, in Florida or Georgia, they would just thrive, growing in the springtime into the early summer. You can really get a lot of mileage out of the Top Bunch 2.0s. Now, the Georgia collards can take a significant amount of frost. I don't think they do as well in the heat. I'm not sure if they're slow to bolt or if they bolt fast. That I don't know. But they are slower growing for sure. And I know they do take a lot of frost because we've had a couple of frosts here in the last couple of years, and the Georgia collards stood up very well to them. But let me take a walk around here. Like I said, maybe to do a different shot here and see if you can see the size difference of the two. It really is significant, in person. But they're both doing wonderful. I would not choose one over the other because they're both great. Now, the Top Bunch 2.0 has more of a cabbagey taste rather than the traditional collard taste. A little bit more bitter, if you will, on a traditional collard taste. But the Top Bunch 2.0s, they taste more cabbagey. So if you like that taste over the traditional collard taste, you may want to go with that variety. Okay, this next row here, we have cabbage. Just gonna walk down the aisle here and show you the row before I start talking about the varieties. All right, so on these last two here, or first two, whichever way I'm walking down the row here, but these two here are they're red acre cabbage. And for some reason, every year I try to grow these, they're just super difficult. I'll grow out 30 or 40 seeds, and only a handful will make it. And out of the, I would probably say at least 50 seeds this year, I've only had 3 make it, and they are not doing that great. So you can see a size comparison to the rest of them. They're just so far they're not very hardy. Now, that may be my fault. It may not be my fault. I don't know. I like the taste of them. I like the look of them. So I'm not going to give up on trying to grow these. The next is a Chinese cabbage. That's a really pretty cabbage so far. This is the first time I'm growing these. So I don't know what they taste like, and I don't know how they're going to do. But so far they're doing really, really well. And this is one more of the red acre cabbage, just sporadically thrown in there. Walk up here. These cabbage here, the first few. These are Cheers cabbage, and they are doing unbelievable. These are also a hybrid. They grow about maybe a 4 to 5 pound head, and we have grown these several times in the past, and they do really, really well here for us. The next ones are a Charles Wakefield. Now these are an open pollinated heirloom variety. These right here. They grow kind of an oblong head, more of an oblong than a round head. Again, maybe a 4 pound cabbage at maturity. And they do really good in warmer climates. So if you wanted to plant these in a early spring type area and grow them into the early summer, Charles Wakefield would be a great one to grow. These are more Cheers cabbage here, and yeah, it's just kind of sporadically thrown out through the row here. All right, guys, on to the next row here. So this next row is also an entire row of cabbage. We do have a few different varieties growing on this one. The first variety is called a superstar cabbage. We haven't ever grown this variety out yet, so this one's a new one to us. It is a hybrid, and the description that was given when I ordered these, what kind of drew me to them, is what they said. It was a high quality cabbage, meaning it was restaurant quality and it was great for eating raw. So supposedly this variety is you know, a really high-end looking and high-end tasting variety, and so far it looks really good. It was one of the more easier varieties to grow out from seed. It germinated quick, it was healthy growing in the seed trays, so I like what I'm seeing from this variety so far. So hopefully it'll be a hit and we can grow it again. And that's what most of this row is the superstar. Down here at the end is a stonehead cabbage. These are all stonehead here. Stonehead is another hybrid variety that we have grown in the past. It doesn't get, we didn't get really large heads in the past with a stonehead, but what I did like about the variety and why I'm growing it again here in the garden is because of its disease package. We never got any kind of diseases from it. Bugs never really took to it. The worms never really chewed on them. It was just a really strong variety for us. It was definitely nothing, you know, super spectacular in taste. It was just normal, average, everyday, you know, eating variety cabbage. So it may be the last year we grow these. You know, if it doesn't feel like we, you know, knocked it out of the park with the taste or, you know, quality of them, you know, maybe the last year we grow these, but we'll see. You know, I like it. It's not a terrible variety to grow. This is the reason we grew it again. Here in the end, again, we have a couple Chinese cabbage that we just threw here on the end that I had left over, and again a couple more of these stonehead. Okay, coming down to the end of our row here, this is, half of it is broccoli and the other half is cauliflower. All the way to the end here. Now, we had a tremendous time growing out cauliflower and broccoli seeds, and what I mean by tremendous, meaning we could not grow them out at all. So the ones that I showed you earlier at the beginning of this video in the pots, those were all from seed starts that we grew out, and that was it. So we had maybe, you know, less than a dozen plants out of, you know, maybe 70 or 80 starts that actually took off and were viable to grow out. So unfortunately I had to go out and buy starts in order to fill this row up, which wasn't cheap because they come out to be about $1 a plant after all said and done, you know, versus, you know, $4 for 60 or 70 seeds. So you can do the math there. It's not very cost effective buying starts. But if that's all you can do, then that's all you can do. I would absolutely recommend doing it. But when you're planting a larger scale like this, buying a plant for $1 is just it gets a little expensive. But anyway, on to these the starts here that I purchased all these from Lowe's. I usually get my stuff from Home Depot, but Home Depot at the time did not have any of these in stock. Bonnie Plants had not stocked the shelves with the cauliflower or broccoli yet, so I had to go to Lowe's and get them because I was ready to plant then and there. I don't know what variety the cauliflower is because Lowe's and Bonnie Plants did not mark the variety of cauliflower, but the broccoli is a lieutenant variety, which I've never grown before. So we will see how those grow out. Again, the cauliflower, I don't know, what variety they are, so I can't, whittle it down if I'm going to grow them or not again in the future because, I don't know what they are. But we'll see how they go. It's okay if you don't know the variety, if you just do, starts here and there, as long as you can get something good and edible, then I think that's a win. All right, so this next variety here is romaine lettuce, and this whole last row here of the greens is just kind of a hodgepodge of what I had left over in the seed trays. So it's nothing real special, and they're not growing out really all that great. That's a bok choy. Another romaine lettuce, more romaine lettuce. This is a unique heirloom that unique to me because I haven't heard of this yet. This is a Morris Heading collard. I haven't ever seen these in seed form or start form. I was at Ace Hardware getting something else to purchase one day, and I saw these on the rack, so I had to get them to try. A Morris Heading cabbage. More bok choy. These are Purple Lady bok choy. And more Chinese cabbage. And last but not least, these are the onion starts that we planted earlier this week, and they're doing okay. They're kind of struggling here. I'm trying to put a lot of water to them and trying to reduce the shock of them going into the ground, but they're doing okay. They're surviving. And I think these are going to be our last peppers that we get before winter hits. This has been a really great bell pepper plant. It's given us a lot of peppers this fall. So, but I think this is it. These are going to be the last two before the winter comes here in Florida, and hopefully I'll be able to keep this plant alive so we can have it produce here in the springtime. And same thing with these peppercini plants. I think these are going to be our last hurrah here until the springtime. Hopefully I'll be able to winterize these good enough where we'll be able to get some spring production. As you can see, it's pretty loaded. We've gotten so many peppers off of these two plants. It's not even funny. Okay guys, I think that's gonna do it for this fall garden update. This is the first full fall garden update that I have ever done, so hopefully I'll get a little bit better at it. This whole YouTube thing is still really new to us. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed what we have growing here, and we'll keep updating you as things start growing and as we start harvesting. We appreciate you watching, and we'll see you next time.